have a roll call, please, B?
Mr. Boared,
Here.
Mr. Lorenzini,
Here.
Mr. Delacorte,
Here.
Mr. Galati.
Here. Okay, first order of business tonight would be the acceptance of the minutes from March 9th, 2021. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at that? Not a whole lot.
Yes.
Are there any changes, objections, revisions?
No.
No.
All right, could I have a motion, please, to accept the minutes as written?
Motion?
Second.
Second, Tom second. You
No,
got
that was-
B?
That was John.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
so David Boared and Lorenzini. Okay.
Correct. All right, let's see, second order of business tonight would be the adjourned public hearing, appeal number 197689, commercial variance, Tarpon Towers 2, LLC wireless telecommunications facility, seeking an area variance section 248(1)(G)(4), C2 of the district regulations in an R40/80 zoning district, where no tower can be located closer than 750 feet on a horizontal plane to an existing dwelling unit. The applicant can provide 678 feet to 106 Caroline Drive East, tax grid number 605603261413, thus requesting a variance of 72 feet. The second variance would be tax grid number 605603259396, and that would be 108 Caroline Drive East. The third variance would be 107 Caroline Drive East, tax grid number 605603238390. The fourth variance would be 114 Caroline Drive East, tax grid number 605603250363. The fifth variance would be 110 Caroline Drive East, tax grid number 605603255378, thus requesting a variance of 200 feet. The sixth variance would be 116 Caroline Drive East, tax grid number 605603242352. The property is located 110 Chelsea Road and is identified by tax grid number 605603339420. Could I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion. We open the public hearing.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, since there is a pending legal action on this application, this board could take no action on this application at this time. So I would move then to have adjourn this public hearing to the 6/8 meeting. Could I have a motion, please, to adjourn to 6/8?
Motion?
And a second?
I will second.
Great.
Just put me down.
Okay. So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so moved. All right. Third item on tonight's agenda, public hearing, appeal number 217721, Craig Bova, seeking an area variance section 240-37 of the district regulations in an R40 zoning district, where 25 feet to the side yard property line is required. The applicant can provide 12 feet for the construction of a 10 by 20 prefab shed, thus requesting a variance of 13 feet. The property is located at 5 Montfort Road and is identified as tax grid number 635801173528 in the town of Wappinger. Could I have a motion, please, to open up this public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. Okay, Craig, I see you on the screen there. At this
Aye.
point, Craig, we ask the applicant, for the benefit of the board and anybody who may be listening in, exactly what you need and why you need it, and then we'll get into a little discussion. So why don't you give us just a brief description?
So I need a variance for my shed on my property in my backyard. And I had gotten a permit for it. Had a guy come over and survey the land before I put up the shed. And then I applied for a variance. And now we're at this meeting.
Okay, all right, so we were all at the property on Saturday and then took a
I
good look
also
around.
reached out to the guy that surveyed my property before I put the shed up.
Sorry, Craig, your audio's a
Right.
little, your audio's a
So
little
I
behind.
reached out to the guy that surveyed my property
Yep,
before I put the shed up, and I talked to him, and I asked him what.
I think we got technical issues, Pete.
yeah. Yeah, Craig, we're not getting
So I
everything.
asked him for a survey to put the shed on the survey.
Yep,
Did you get that?
no, we didn't get a survey yet. Did you submit another survey?
Great.
Your screen is frozen, Craig. I don't know if your Wi-Fi may be a little weak. I don't know if you can hear us. But it was, yeah, for all listening, when we visited the property on Saturday, there seemed to be a discrepancy
But-
on where the
Yeah, I can
shed
hear
is at.
you.
Can you hear us, Craig?
When we-
I think he's typing.
Can I turn off your video?
All right. Craig,
Yeah, I'm gonna shut my video off.
okay,
I do it now.
that's a
Can
little
you hear me
better.
better now?
Yeah, a little bit better. He's still breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, a little bit better. So when we were at the property, there
You
seemed
can
to
hear
be
me better?
a discrepancy on where the shed was located.
Okay, so I
You were-
yeah, no, I can't.
Craig, I'm sorry, we're not really hearing you.
I can't. Well,
You can use the dial.
all right, I'm gonna try calling you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Try here.
Okay, so call the number. And put on speaker.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Pete, this is a public hearing.
yes.
Should we come back, or what do you think?
Yeah, hang on a second. Yeah, I think maybe Barbara and B, maybe we should move on to the next application. And then if Mr. Bova gets back connected, we'll pick him back up.
It looks like someone's trying to call in.
Yeah, my screen just flashed. Maybe,
It's 331.
Yeah, I see that. But it's muted. If
Right.
that's
Tom might have to unmute him.
There you
with
go.
Hello?
There he is.
Hello?
Yep,
Can anybody hear me?
yep. Is that Craig?
Yes, this is
All right,
Craig.
Craig, we can hear you a lot better now.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know
Okay.
why we technical. Anyway, so I reached out to Bob Oswald. I went through all the list of surveyors,
Yep.
and that was the guy. So I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, you were on my property probably last March." I
Mhm.
couldn't remember exactly when it was. And I said, you put a bunch of flags up and, you charged me $400. I said, the code, the town wants it on paper now, on a survey where the shed is. And he said you charged me $900 for that.
Mhm.
So I know it's like I said, I went, I got the permit. I went ahead before I did that. I got this guy because I wanted it marked out where my property was on each side.
Yep.
I did that, and I realized, I was too close once they came out, so I applied for the variance. I am continually trying to do the right thing here.
I get it.
I'm really throwing money out the window here for
Yeah.
pretty much is 56 square feet of storage in my backyard. I mean,
Right.
I've been here 38 years, and those marks have been there since I've been there. I just wanted, ones closer to my property, so where I was putting the fence and the shed, just so there
Right.
wouldn't be any dispute.
Right. Well,
So I'm trying to come to terms with getting the funds, the $900, or I reached out to the people who sold me the shed, the
Yep.
company, and I'm trying to see if they would take it back. So I don't have to throw this money out the window, because I feel like that's all I'm doing is throwing, I spent $1,000 and I didn't get any place.
right.
And if I do get this survey done, if I can get the money together and get this survey done with the shed on it, what will prevent you from telling me I got to do something else, that I got to spend more money?
Well, it would appear at this point, the survey that we had, the older one from 1970, right?
Yes.
That shows your property line going straight back, and there's no jog in it. Originally when we had mentioned it, you thought there was a jog in the property.
Yeah.
But there's no jog, and
Right.
the property line looks like it parallels. I checked the county website as well. The property line looks like it goes straight back from the edge of that driveway, which basically follows the fence line, which then basically follows the shed line. So it
Right.
looks as though the shed right now is right on the property line.
Right.
And,
So-
and that's not the variance you're looking for. The variance you're looking for has it 12 feet off the property line.
Right. And I was only going by what the guy had put, what the original flags were out there, and then what this guy put there. He
Right.
pretty much meant what the old, where the old stakes were. So that's the only reason why I said that was, what I needed.
Gotcha.
So let's say the scenario is that this guy comes and marks it out, and he says it's a straight line, and the shed is right on the line.
Correct.
Which I don't see it, because I measured my property, and from my fence on the right side going over there, I have at least another 5 feet past the shed. I measured it with a 100 and something foot, because I think I have 100 feet going across.
Right.
I think that's, yes, okay.
Right. Yeah. You have your lot looks like it's about 100 feet wide.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I had one of those roll-up tape measures, so I
Gotcha.
went from one where the guy staked it on my right side, if you're in my backyard looking at the backyard, and I went over to the fence,
Mhm.
and I came up at 95, and then I have 5 feet past that.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know, if it why it varies to the road. There's no such thing as it being on an angle, right? I mean, could it be 100 foot, on an angle?
But if your property lines don't run parallel, one side to the other, it could be off askew a little bit. But again, you know, you're measuring from one property line to the other. If the fence, and to answer your question, if the fence, I'm sorry, not the fence, if the shed actually ends up being right on the property line, if it would, it'd be very difficult for this board to grant the variance having the shed right on the property line.
Okay, and if it wasn't, if it, whatever feet, away from it, well, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, if I'm throwing money away or what here.
Right.
Yeah, I think even with 12 feet, I had some reservation because that's a big variance what you are asking. So even 12 foot in my mind was too much to ask for. So,
Okay,
just to give you idea about what I think from my perspective I'm looking for was couple feet variance, not 50% variance, right?
Okay.
The variance will not required if it was 25 feet away. So we are looking, it looks like looking for 12.5 feet is almost 50%. So
Is there any other place on the property, Craig, where you could put it?
right, that may be.
Well, I mean, you saw my property. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so if I understand correctly, if it was 144 square feet, it'd be fine. But because it's 200 feet, it's 56 square feet of storage over that, then it has to be moved.
No, and I believe that regardless of the size, it needs to be that distance off the property line. Is that correct, Barbara?
Even if it was 144 square feet, it would still need to be a minimum of 10 feet from the side property line.
Ah, okay. All right. I understood that it was, that was the point.
Yeah, so that's it, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so it doesn't make, so it wouldn't make any sense for me to get the survey then anyway.
Yeah, except you choose location and provide 10, 15 feet distance, then survey may not be even needed. If you physically can move that far and then we have like 5 feet buffer, then I think board can think about, yeah, okay, no big deal.
So if I move it 10 feet in, I would be all right?
If you move it, well, that depends. If you move it, if it's currently right on the property, 10 feet in is still, you're almost kind of splitting the difference. But if you think you're 5 foot off the property and you move it 10 feet in, yeah, that would be a pretty good location. But we would have to know that.
Right. So you're not accepting the survey marks that are there now?
We couldn't.
They don't look to be accurate, quite honestly, especially the one that was like behind the shed.
Well, they're all behind the shed. There's a line I showed you from the pine tree down.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were either not accurate or your neighbor's driveway was significantly over the property line.
Hard to judge, right? Hard for us to.
Yeah. I never had an issue with it, so I never, really looked into it. I maintain that grass area between the property lines, so I never looked into it. I just mow it.
Mr. Bova, this is Tom.
Yep.
I just wanted to go back just for a little bit here, rewind. You said when you had the survey done, you reached out to the person who did the survey for you, which...
That's correct, Bob.
Okay. And he was going to charge you $900 for a drawing? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So $1,300 together.
Right.
After I pay. I'm sorry?
Did you ask Bob how much he would charge you just to stake it, since he's already done the survey? Just the line, not the whole property.
Yeah, that's what I asked him to do to begin with, just to stake it, just to mark it, so I know where the property line is, so there wouldn't be an issue with the shed. And he charged me $400 cash, and left, and I didn't think anything of it. And He didn't write anything down. I had no receipt or nothing. So I couldn't remember who the heck he was. So I started looking through the list of surveyors, and I remembered that name. And I called him up, and he couldn't remember me. And I was like, I described him. I described his kids that were on my prop. I never met the guy before. And,
All right.
and he goes, oh, I have no record. I have no record of it. And I was like, well, it was you. And now I'm asking you to come out here and, do this. And he goes, oh, I'm gonna, $900. So
the point he missed, though, he didn't give you the point at the very front of the property line. I think if we had that point at the front of the property line, it would be much easier to kind of visually see where your line is.
Sir, I do have it.
At the front of the property line?
Yes. It's buried in the grass, but I know where it is.
So it is buried in the grass, so it's not in your neighbor's driveway.
Huh?
I honestly think we need to see the shed located on a survey to show us exactly the distance the shed is from the property line. When we were out there looking at the points that were in the grass or the leaves, it just didn't seem to line up with what the real property looks like on the parcel access.
In your guys' point, it looks like they line up.
25.
I don't know how the surveys work or property lines or whatever. I just go by where they put the flags.
Right.
So
it just doesn't look like there's any way to connect a straight line on that side of your property.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't look as though there's any way to draw a straight line on that side of your property.
No, I understand. Yeah, no, I understand what you guys are saying. I like I said, I'm not trying to do anything wrong here. I just went by the flags, and that's why I even had a guy come out to mark it so there wouldn't be an issue.
Right. And so guys, I think we're going to need, Craig, really, we're going to need to see the shed located on a survey. Because right now, looking at it, it looks like it's right on the property line or very close to it.
Right, I understand.
And if we were to grant or deny you an inaccurate variance, it's only going to cause you a lot more headache down the road.
Right. Okay. So if I do that, and and I do have room on the other side, and none of my neighbors, mind or whatever. What's the next step then? If I do go spend $900 on the survey.
Well, if you spend $900 on the survey and the shed ends up being right on the property or very close to it, it's going to be very difficult for this board to grant you a variance, if that is the case.
Even though nobody will have a problem with it?
Yes.
Well, your current neighbors would have no problem with it, right? But the variance lives in perpetuity, so you never know. The next person who moves into the house may have a problem with it, and that would be a problem for everybody.
Okay. All right. Well,
so I think what we'll do from here is we'll adjourn this public hearing, and to the next meeting, and then in the interim, you'll let Barbara and B know how you want to proceed, whether you're going to get the survey or not get the survey, and then we'll go from there. But it'll give you some time to think about it.
Yeah. Well,
Will 2 weeks be giving him enough time?
I think we should push it out a month, because if he does
At
decide
least.
survey, he's gonna need time. They're very busy now. And if he decides not to do it, it's just another 2 weeks. But I think
the guy told me he's 3 weeks out when I asked him.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't book it with him when I just asked him this yesterday. I didn't book it with him because I wanted to talk to you guys first and see your thoughts on it.
Good.
either that or go to the first meeting in May. That would give him enough weeks to order the survey to be done, them to do it, because then it might take them a week or so to turn the survey around for him.
Sure. Wait, what's the date of that meeting, B?
It's May 11th.
All right, so 5/11. Okay, so what we'll do, Craig, is they're gonna ask for a motion to adjourn this public hearing to the May 11th meeting, give you time to assess what you want to do and let us know. And, you know, we'll put you on for that meeting and we'll go from there.
I like to give my
What's that, Shailesh?
one thing I like to say, if it is close, even after survey, if it is close to the borderline, like within a couple feet, I think I will have time to approve it.
No, I think we established that it needs to be, it can't be, you know, a few feet off the property line. It needs to move.
Right. From 25 feet to having like a couple feet only, that's a big variance.
That's correct.
That we have to consider.
That's
Okay.
correct. All right, so I'm going to ask make a motion, somebody make a motion to adjourn this public hearing to the May 11th meeting.
I make it to adjourn until May 11.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. All right, Craig, so we're going to put you on the agenda for May 11th. And in the interim, you know, let the folks down at Town Hall, Barbara and B, know how you want to proceed.
Okay. Thank you for your time, guys.
You got it. Thanks for jumping on.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so the third item on tonight's agenda, maybe the fourth. The fourth item on tonight's agenda is appeal number 217718, Lydia Estrada seeking an area variance section 240-37 of district regulations in an R40 zoning district, where 50 feet is required to the rear yard property line. The applicant can provide 20.4 feet to allow for an existing 24-foot above the ground pool to remain and 7-foot wide deck, thus requesting a variance of 29.6 feet. Where 25 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant can provide 14.6 feet for an existing pool to remain, thus requesting a variance of 10.4 feet. Where 25 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant can provide 15.2 feet for an existing deck to house, thus requesting a variance of 9.8 feet. Where 50 feet is required to the rear yard property line, the applicant can provide 12.2 feet for an existing deck to house, thus requesting a variance of 37.8 feet. The property is located at 28 Kendall Drive and is identified as tax grid number 6257-01-331-504 in the town of Wappinger. Could I have a motion, please, to open the public hearing?
I make a motion on public hearing.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Lydia, we were at your home on Saturday. I mean, let's start. Lydia, you're on mute. Can you hear me?
Okay.
There we go. We were all at the house on Saturday. We usually have you, you know, for the folks listening in and for the board, have you give us a brief description of what you need and why you need it. But I think before we do that, I think we need to clarify a couple of dimensions on the application. And you could tell me if I'm wrong, but hold on, I'm getting your plan ready here.
You know, I didn't know if it was okay for us to interrupt and give Greg our surveyor guy number.
Yeah, no, I think it's more in the description, and guys, follow along with me on the first variance, where 50 feet is required to the rear yard property line. The applicant can provide 20.4 feet to allow for an existing 24-foot above ground pool to remain. I think that 20.4 feet is to the pool, correct? Not the deck.
It should be above ground pool to remain, and the word "and" 7-foot wide deck should be crossed out.
Correct. 100%. So it's the 20.4 feet, because now the next thing I was going to say, then the very last variance, you have where 50 feet is required to the rear yard property line, the applicant can provide 12.2 feet for an, I believe this should be the new deck, correct?
Right, deck to pool.
Right, new
New
deck
deck.
pool, thus
Pool.
requesting a 37.8-foot variance. So that would be from the rear property line to the new deck,
Right.
okay? You guys follow that?
Yes.
You guys, Lydia, you follow that?
Yes.
Okay, just to, so for clarification, we'll get that straightened out. Now, so I'm gonna give you the floor. So you, Lydia, you could give everybody just a brief description of what you need and why you need it for anybody who's listening in, plus the board.
Just we want to improve our deck. Currently we have a wooden deck which is coming apart. Some of the boards are sinking, some of them have rotted through. So we just want to upgrade for new materials. So we have a sturdier deck, and also to expand it so that we can have easier access to the pool area.
Gotcha. Now, we were all there on Saturday and see what you got going on, and yeah, we can see your reasons for wanting to move forward with this. Also, like to note for everyone listening in that there's a conservation easement behind you. So your rear property line and the adjoining rear property line are pretty good distance apart. In other words, the home behind you does not abut your property line. And the conservation even does provide some screening there as well. So, yeah, so we can see what you're going on and what you'd like to do. Pretty, other than that, it was fairly straightforward that we got the dimensions straight. You guys have any other questions?
No? How about you, Tim?
Nope. I would just like to find out what's going on with the project so I can move forward with it.
I'm sure you do.
I've been dealing with this for almost a year now.
Has it been? Any guys on the board, do you have any other questions for the Estradas? I know we were out at there Saturday. I spent a fair amount of time in the yard to see what's going on and what the encumbrances are. Any other questions?
The only comment I have is, that easement is it's almost 67 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in my mind, that really helps. Usually I would say that this pool is way too close to the back property line, but with that additional kind of buffer zone that is inherently there, I think it makes it much more agreeable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And it does provide, you have trees in the easement as well, and it does provide screening from you and your rear yard neighbor.
Right.
So, is there any other questions, guys? Okay, if there's no more questions, could I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
Wait, any audience questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, is anybody listening in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this application? Doesn't appear. So let the record show no other questions or concerns from the public. Now, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make
Motion
a
to
motion to
close.
close the public hearing.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, can I now have a motion, please, to deny or grant the applicant the variance?
Pete, they have to be done one at a time.
Okay,
They're too big not to do separately.
right, gotcha. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to deny or grant the variances? I'll go ahead and make a motion. I will make a motion to grant the variances, and I'll read them one at a time. Where the first variance would be where 50 feet is required to the rear yard property line, the applicant can provide 20.4 feet to allow for an existing 24-foot above ground pool to remain, thus requesting a variance of 29.6 feet. Now, Barbara, do we need to read the conditions on each one, or we could just read down? the variances.
Unless they change from one variance to the other.
Okay, I don't think so. So I'm going to read you the variances again, one at a time. Where 25 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant can provide 14.6 feet for an existing pool to remain, thus requesting a variance of 10.4 feet. Where 25 feet is required to the side yard property line, the applicant can provide 15.2 feet for an existing deck to house, thus requesting a variance of 9.8 feet. Where 50 feet is required, the rear yard property line, the applicant can provide 12.2 feet for a new deck for the pool, thus requesting a variance of 37.8 feet. Okay, now, in the conditions I'm reading would apply to all variances. Where the benefit can be achieved by any other feasible means. No, it cannot. Would there be an undesirable change in the neighborhood or a detriment to the character of nearby properties? No, there would not be. Whether the request is substantial, the requests are substantial, however, it's not enough to deny the variance. Whether the request will have any adverse physical effects on the environment? No, it will not. And whether the difficulty is self-created? Yes, it is, again, but not enough to deny the variance. So I would move then to approve all the variances as read. I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
No, this would be a roll call.
Oh,
Okay, have a roll call, please, B.
Mr. Boared,
Yes.
Mr. Lorenzini,
yes.
Mr. Delacorte,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
He's muted.
You did. Shalish, you're
Mr.
muted.
Shaw,
Yeah, yes, I'm here, sorry.
Mr. Galati.
Yes. Okay, so your variances have been granted, and you're able to move forward.
Thank you.
If B or Barbara may have a little bit of homework for you, not sure.
More?
Tomorrow, B will do her magic, what she has to do because of the roll call vote tonight approving this. It will then be given to me. I will then change my denial to an approval. It will then go to the building department. And as long as all your plans meet the code, you'll get your building permit sometime in the next week or so. They'll call you to pick it up, or you can have it mailed. If there's any issues, one of the building inspectors will call you right away. Because you've waited so long, you go to the top of the pile tomorrow.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
That sounds good.
We do try to push the variances that were approved, since we know you've been waiting quite a few weeks. So you should hear very shortly.
All right,
Now,
thank you.
I'm the
All right,
contractor, I have one question for you, Miss Barbara.
Who is this?
Mr.
Evans,
Contractor.
Oh, hi.
contractor. Hello, I met with you once or twice. Now, their existing deck is 2x6 framing. I'm more concerned about if the building inspector comes out for the framing inspection, that the upper deck's already done as the facelift, that he might want to see either 2x8, 2x10, or 2x12 joists instead of the existing 2x6 that are there now. Is there
And
any?
then, so he or she may very well let them look at your plans. If they're not sure, they'll do a site visit, and
Okay,
then they'll find a way to work with you to either correct it or to shore it up to their satisfaction.
okay. Now, is there any way that I might be able to meet with the man or the woman on the site visit to go over everything that's there now on the existing deck?
Why don't you wait until they look at it? I will put a note to call you directly if they have any issues, as long as your name and phone number's on there,
I believe it is.
okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Barbara.
Okay. All right, gang, so you're free to go.
Yeah, thank you,
Good
everybody.
night.
Everybody have a great night.
Sure, you too. Everybody have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Now, just as a general note, I think Barbara, I know that the guys expressed some interest in maybe going back to the two site visit. I'm sorry, the discussion and then public hearing, as opposed to just doing right to the public hearing. Did you guys had thought on Saturday, we were talking a little bit about it and we were thinking about maybe doing that. I mean, we always do have the option of adjourning, correct?
Yes, and I think the one COVID is behind us. We were hoping the town board would approve the building to be open as of April 5th.
Yeah.
But due to quite a spike that's occurred in the county last night, they now have postponed opening until the 12th of April.
Got it.
That being said, I think the urgency that we had last year, because we had no meetings for 5 weeks, it went right into the spring and to try to help the residents. But if this board would like, we can go right back now to the way that it had been done in Wappingers for decades, to a discussion and then a public hearing.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
A discussion, a site visit, and a public hearing.
Right.
Because we kind of felt like we were sort of in a hurry.
Rushed.
Yes,
Right.
rushed. Yeah.
With the bova.
Right.
Yeah,
With
they're
Volvo.
so rushed.
Yeah, there's been some others as well. We thought maybe would have been better served to have a discussion first. So you guys want to move forward with that? We'll go back to the old way, having a discussion, site visit, public hearing?
I'm okay with that, Pete. I just wanted to know, I'm just not clear, Barb, if you meant back to the old way, meaning go into the town hall. I'm not sure. That's not related, right?
Not real, well, the next meeting you have, what is today? The next meeting the next meeting you have, I think, is the 13th. It will be on Zoom because we will already have had to advertise and get everybody prepared. And seeing that the town board will make a decision just hours before the night before, it'd be too late to switch. But any new applicants, you don't have anybody on tonight that's going to a public hearing. So there are quite a few denied applications in B's office. So when they come in, they'll go on the 13th as a discussion. You will be in Zoom, but hopefully the town board will lift the Zoom factor. You'll set a site visit for that Saturday or the Saturday after at your discretion. And then the second meeting in April will be in person, and that will be their public hearing.
Okay. That works for me. You guys okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Very good.
Okay.
Everybody
Release,
else?
you're on mute.
Oh,
Release,
sorry.
you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I think that's what we should do. Have a first hearing, then we have a visit, and then public hearing.
Yeah, that
We
works.
can discuss first, right?
Okay. So we're good with that, Barbara?
We're good, and that will be the process from here going forward.
Perfect.
All right, yeah.
All right. So then,
Thank you.
without any further business at tonight's zoning board, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Could I have a second?
Second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, guys and gals, thanks a lot.
Thank you.